Good morning to you, members of the media, and good morning to our listening and viewing public. Thank you for joining us on this morning's post-cabinet briefing. Happy am I to welcome our Minister for Climate Resilience, Forestry, Fisheries, the Environment, Disaster Management and Information, Honorable Simon Steele. This morning, he will speak with us on issues under his areas of responsibility in that ministry. We know just yesterday we would have seen a press release from the World Bank announcing a new line of credit for Grenada. So we'll hear something about that as well. We'll also hear an update on the SAGASM and government's plans to address this in conjunction with our OECS neighbors. In addition to that, Minister will speak about the commercialization of farm machinery, the appointment of a new president at the TA Marischal Community College as part of that whole restructuring process. So I welcome him now to address us, and then we'll take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Keisha, and a very good morning and welcome to members of the media and the viewing and listening audience. So I will start this morning about the contractual appointment of a new president for TA Marischal Community College. So yesterday, Cabinet would have approved the recommendations that came out of the select committee within TAMCC for the appointment of a new president. And this is as part of government's initiative and thrust to transform TAMCC into the region's premier tertiary education institution. And this appointment is part of a wider restructuring process, which not only includes the appointment of the president, but will also include the appointment of two vice presidents, one overseeing the administrative side of the college, the other over the academic side, and a director to provide senior management support. And this will be the thrust for the organizational change and transformation of the college. And it's looking at doing two things. One is strengthening the management of the college. There is a belief that TAMCC can achieve far more than it's already achieving. So strengthening the management, and then the second area of focus is strengthening the academic attainment within the college. So the academic credentials, the strength of our graduating students would be enhanced. And this is in partnership with McMaster University. We would have spoken many times about this partnership with McMaster University, an Ivy League university from Canada, together with the Petner Foundation, which is headed by Dr. Nicholas Brathwaite, a son of the soil, who's partnering with us to achieve this, this ambitious goal. And as part of this, we have, as part of this initiative, there is a curriculum review, curriculum development, looking at how we can increase and strengthen the curriculum so that it is far more relevant, not just to the needs of our young men and women today, but also in the future. Heavy focus on technical and vocational training, but also a heavy focus on the pure academic side of things. And then faculty development. There are techniques that are being employed currently within the college that are providing a world-class teacher training development process that's led by McMaster University. And through this initiative, we will see the significant improvement in the quality and achievements of the college. So moving on to specifically to the successful candidate that was selected and approved by Cabinet yesterday, it is Dr. Judlyn Innocent, a teaching and management professional of Caribbean descent. She is currently the Executive Dean of Durham Community College in Canada. And Durham Community College has 350 faculty members. It has over 6,000 students and a budget of 32 million Canadian dollars. So a significant educational institute, and an educational institute with a very good reputation. The search process was headed by an international agency. Over 115 applications were received from all over the world, the Caribbean, including Grenadian applicants, the United States, Canada, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. The process has been an open and transparent one, led by the Executive Search Agency, but with involvement from the college, from other stakeholders. And this selection process will continue for the selection of these other 3 positions, the 2 vice presidents that will support the president and the director. And this team, this senior management team, will spearhead the transformation of the college into that lofty ambition to transform TAMCC into the premier tertiary education institute in the Caribbean. So moving on to other discussions in Cabinet yesterday, there was the establishment of a number of boards and committees, and I'll speak to 2 of those. First is the Board of Directors for the National Skills Development Institute up in St. Patrick's, and an advisory committee to make recommendations to government for the commercialization of our farm machinery services. So focusing specifically on the National Skills Development Institute, it is based in Mount Rich, and again, there have been a number of announcements about this innovative development. This center has been conceptualized by the Ministry of Sports, of Youth, Sports, and Culture, with the involvement of the Ministry of Education. And the first phase of the program is to target young males aged between 18 and 35. We all know that this is a very vulnerable demographic, and a demographic that we need to find more opportunities for, create an environment where they're able to develop their skills so that they can have productive and constructive livelihoods. So the focus of the center will be on furniture repairs and manufacture and other construction skills. This is in the first instance. And specifically, it will be looking at repairing and refurbishing school furniture and furniture for our public buildings. We know the challenges that we have in our schools in terms of sourcing school furniture, and this is a perfect match to not only meeting some of our furniture needs for our schools, but also providing the skills development for our young men. So it will give them the necessary skills, responsibilities, and opportunities to improve their livelihoods. So the center will be managed by a board of directors, and Cabinet yesterday approved that board, which would include David Fleming, who is the interim VP at TAMCC. He will chair this board. Bartholomew Grant, a technical education officer. Lincoln Morgan from the NTA. Alfred Tannis, a TAMCC lecturer. Norman Gilbert from the Ministry of Youth. Grantley Chiddick, a community representative, and there'll be a representative from the GIDC providing that business oversight. So the board is a mixed range of skill sets that have the experience and the knowledge to provide strategic guidance for the management of this training institution, and it will ensure that the necessary management structures and processes are in place to make this a success. Moving on now to this second area, advisory committee was established that will provide advice and guidance to the government in the process for the commercialization of our farm machinery services that are currently operating from Mirabeau Propagation Center up in St. Andrews. Our tractor services have historically been very challenged and plagued with many, many problems, including an aging tractor fleet. And this is notwithstanding the 8 tractors the government of Grenada received from the People's Republic of China between 2014 and 2018. So these new tractors are there to supplement or to replace some of the older tractors that were within the service. There have been challenges in terms of servicing and maintaining the fleet of tractors, acquiring spare parts, and having the necessary skills to keep these tractors operational. The cost of operating this service to government is also extremely high, and our ability to retain qualified technicians, mechanics, and operators has also been a challenge. And what we have found is the demand for these services continue to increase. We've seen a significant increase in our agricultural production, specifically our short crops, vegetables, for example. And the demands for these services continue to increase. We currently service between the peak period, which is between May and July, somewhere in the region of 240, 250 farms. But the demands, as I said, exceed that. So the government has made a policy decision to commercialize this service. So this is to form a private or a public-private partnership so we can attract the necessary investment that's required to further expand the equipment machinery that is used for this service. It will also, one of the key objectives is to preserve the opportunities for those who are willing, those workers who are willing to continue to provide service within this operations. And ultimately for us to be able to provide a better service to our farmers and reduce costs to government. So those are the key objectives. So the advisory committee will be led by the Minister of Agriculture with support from a former Minister of Agriculture, the Attorney General, and myself. And the recommendations that Cabinet is seeking to receive from this advisory committee is a service that better serves our farmers, attracts, as I said, the vital investment that's needed for new equipment, opportunities for existing workers, and to provide better value for money for our taxpayers. Moving on to Fisherman's Birthday, which is celebrated annually on the 29th of June, so this coming Friday. And it's an opportunity for us as a nation to recognize the sterling service our fisher folk provide. Every day they risk their lives to feed us. We have to also recognize their contribution to our food and nutrition security. Fish, seafood, a vital part of our diet, and their important role in terms of supporting our economy and our economic development. So yesterday, Cabinet approved budgetary support for Friday's celebrations, which will be supporting 22 fisher folk communities in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And there are major activities that are planned in Guave, which we know is the fishing capital of Grenada, but please don't tell those in Petit Martinique that, because I think they too believe that they are the center of our fishing, great fishing nation. There will also be activities in Melville Street at the fish market, Grenville, Sauterres, and of course in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And what we will see are the fisher folk organizations hosting many activities, not just on Friday the 29th, but somewhere up to 3 weeks after that date as celebrations continue up and down the country. And these festivities will include church services, 3 main services, one at St. Peter's Roman Catholic Church in Guave, the Catholic Cathedral here in St. George's, and Grand Anse Roman Catholic. And it'll be attended, these services, we are having to be in multiple places, but some of the services will be attended by the Governor General, Minister Dabrio, who has primary responsibility for fisheries, Minister Garraway, and myself. So we'll be attending these services. There will also be a number of processions, one Gwarv to the Lance, and the other from the Catholic Cathedral to Melville Street, where there will be a blessing of the boats. There will be various exhibitions, again, demonstrating our fishing prowess. Prize-giving ceremonies, awarding individual fishermen, fisherwomen for their services throughout the year. And then a general celebration, food, drink, music. And we all know how our fishing communities know how to enjoy themselves. So we will have Friday will be a very active day, but then activities throughout the length and breadth of the country over the course of the next 3 weeks. Now, moving on to our plan of action for sargassum. This is a hot topic. Sargassum and the influx of sargassum continues to plague not only us here in Grenada, but our neighbors up and down the region, and is becoming a major challenge for all of us. We would have outlined in previous press conferences the actions that are being taken here in Grenada to clean our beaches, keep our beaches cleared, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that have already been expended, and the expenses that we will continue to bear to keep those priority areas as clear as is practically possible. But the Prime Minister attended the OECS Heads of Government meeting last week, and the Sargassum Action Plan was one of the topics on the agenda. So our heads, regional heads, discussed a common approach as to how to tackle this problem and to use shared learnings as to how each of us are dealing with it. And two of the actions that came out of that meeting, one was for the OECS Secretariat to take a lead role in identifying equipment and the procurement of that equipment centrally for use both in terms of the onshore cleaning. There is specialized equipment that is needed to sensitively clear and clean the beaches, in addition to equipment that could be used to collect sargassum and reduce the amount of sargassum that comes onshore, so offshore equipment. But what was also discussed that is of great interest to all of us is how we can turn a problem into an opportunity, and to learn from some of the experiences St. Lucia specifically are having. They have a couple of young entrepreneurs who have a commercial initiative to convert the sargassum weed into liquid fertilizer, high quality, highly potent liquid fertilizer, which has there's significant demand for it both regionally, nationally, regionally, but also markets internationally. And these two young gentlemen are already exporting to the US market, which we know is a massive opportunity. So part of the discussion with the heads was how can we scale up, collectively scale up the operations in St. Lucia so that there are production facilities on each of the islands so that we can convert this, what is a problem, which is what is an invasive pest, into a revenue-generating opportunity for us and an important agricultural input. So now, just moving on to the press announcement that was made yesterday by the World Bank with its approval of a $30 million US development policy credit for Grenada. And this is part of Grenada's $65 million US IDA allocation, which is grant funds plus highly concessional money that can be used for our budgetary support. But this specific element is a development policy credit that specifically addresses opportunities that exist for Grenada with regard to the blue economy. As we all know, our marine space is 70 times greater than our our terrestrial space. So how can Grenada better take advantage of all of the economic opportunities that are rated in the billions of dollars? I think globally, the blue economy is valued at many trillions of dollars. So this covers areas from fisheries, it covers areas such as yachting, shipping, the cruise industry. Also capitalizing on the marine resources that exist, whether that's oil and gas, whether it is other minerals that exist within our waters. But how can Grenada sustainably take advantage of all of those opportunities? So this policy loan will focus on specific areas that will help us protect and sustainably develop our marine resources. And within that loan, there are specific references to whether it's the banning of plastics and other pollutants that are a major challenge for us in our waters, whether it is building capacity so that we can take advantage of the opportunities that exist. And within that press release, it also, the World Bank took time to applaud Grenada for its incredible successes coming out of the Homegrown Structural Adjustment Program. They spoke to Grenada being the fastest growing economy in the region, with a growth rate averaging 5.5% since 2014. These are incredible numbers. Whether it is reducing our debt to GDP ratio from 108% down to below 70% and continuing to fall. Also speaks to Grenada being the only country in the Caribbean and Latin America out of 31 countries, the only one to have a fiscal surplus. So recognizing the significant strides that Grenada has made in terms of its fiscal management and economic management. So I think on that note.
Yes, thank you. You've given us a lot. Thank you very much. We welcome your questions at this time.
Good morning, Mr. Steele, Ms. Grant. I'll start off with where you ended. Can you just share with us how exactly will these monies be used? And also, what are the terms and conditions for this credit?
Well, within the overall $65 million, $30 million is used for budgetary support. So it is to support government's initiatives, various programs. It could also be used to pay down debt. Grenada has, the government has relative free range as to how it could best apply those funds. So it could either be to strengthen its fiscal situation, which certainly the paying down of debt will enable us to do, but also programs, whether it's in education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's social development, housing, tourism, etc. It can be used to support and provide us with budgetary support. The other areas, the other 35 million, those will be linked to, as I explained earlier, the development of this blue development policy. So identifying very specific interventions that will help grow our blue economy. Also, other areas, more transformative areas, again, looking at all of our sectors, whether it's in infrastructure, whether it's in skills development, youth development. So those programs are being developed as we speak. Some of it is free money, so grant money. Others will be very low interest rates with payment periods of extended periods. So, so very, very concessional loans.
Can you tell us at least what is the percentage? How much is grant money? Can you tell us that?
I don't have that information at hand, but we can easily provide that.
Okay. As it pertains to Fisherman's Birthday, you mentioned budgetary support, but you did not give us a figure.
It's just under $40,000. And those are contributions that are paid to the 22 fisher organizations, but there are other areas of support, non-financial support, that's also being provided through the ministry.
Okay, going back to the TAMCC board, the person appointed as the president, will that person be based in Grenada, and what is the term of that for that position?
It's two different things. The board is headed by a chairman, and that's just a local board. But the president, that is a 5-year appointment, and the person will absolutely be here in TAMCC. Her prime role is to drive change in the college and to lead that change. So she will be the head of TAMCC from September.
Also the National School Skills Development Institute, what is also the tenure for that board?
Well, our boards are usually for a period of 2 years, and then they are reviewed.
And the advisory committee will give government advice pertaining to agriculture. You mentioned that the Minister of Agriculture will lead that board with the assistance of a former minister. Can you tell us who's that minister?
Roland Bowler.
Good morning. Karima Lewis, the New Speaker. In relation to the loan from the World Bank, is the government targeting any specific individuals to apply for that loan?
It's a loan to the government of Grenada. So it's not to an individual. So it's to the government of Grenada for support of government initiatives, government programs.
Okay, so when can we see some of those programs being rolled out?
Immediately. So the first 30 million will be dispersed in the coming days, in the coming weeks.
Okay. In relation to the advisory committee for the farm machinery, you spoke about a PPP arrangement. Could you expound on that a bit for me? Because you also said about commercialization. So that means we're looking at privatization. Do you have a specific person in mind, or a specific company in mind, or you're just waiting on the advice from the committee to go ahead with that?
Okay, first of all, it's not privatization, it's commercialization. So the government will maintain its influence and control of the activity. In terms of how it's going to work, that's the role of the advisory committee. It's set up to provide the terms of reference for the process moving forward. And no, there is no one specific in mind. This will go out to tender, and local and regional interests will be welcome to provide their proposal. So it'll be open. And what government will be looking for is the best person, best persons, best entity to ensure that government's interests are wholly met in terms of providing the best possible service to our farmers, ensuring that there are opportunities for our young workers, those that are currently within the service who wish to continue, and ensuring that government gets best value for money.
Okay. I was wondering, in relation to the Parliament building, is it insured? Or will it be insured if it's not?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
we can get back to you on that.
Okay, and is there a maintenance plan out in terms of?
There would be, of course. Yes.
There would be. Okay.
You cannot have a $50 million building, a world-class facility. I mean, I think you were there at the opening last week, and you saw the amazing design, the amazing workmanship, the quality of the workmanship, the quality of the materials, the amount of thought, the amount of effort that's gone into creating this world-class Parliament building. And for us not to maintain it would be an absolute travesty. So yes, there is a maintenance program in place for that. And the idea is that a building of that stature and of that quality should last many, many generations to come. So the same way York House was there for over 200 years, And it was only Hurricane Ivan that put an end to that. I'd like to think that our great-grandchildren will still be able to appreciate the quality of the building that we saw opened on Friday.
Do you have
Thursday, sorry.
Do you have an idea as to how much what it would cost government to maintain such a building?
I don't have that information.
Okay, as you spoke about the York House, is there any plans to make use of that area?
York House has significant historical value, same as Governor General's house, and government, and we've stated this on many occasions, is expending significant energy and efforts to see how we can restore those two wonderful buildings. But as you can appreciate, the costs involved are astronomical. So discussions have been and continue to take place with our international friends to see how we can raise the necessary resources to restore, renovate those two iconic buildings.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll start where Karima just left off there, pertaining to our new Parliament building. The Mexican ambassador made an announcement that the library will be named after Mexico. Now, I'm aware that there's this Curtis Strong's library. So is it going to be an additional library, or is it that the Sir Curtis Strong's library is going to be renamed? And if that is true, why is it that we're hearing that kind of announcement from a foreign official rather than our own people?
Well, this is the ambassador who spoke would have spoken out of turn, and there are no plans to rename the library at this time.
Very well. Two other things I want to ask you. As it pertains to government's change in plans when it comes to marijuana, I want to know if government's decision was driven by investors from the CBI program. It is my understanding that some investors have interest in getting into that kind of business, and that may have been one of the contributing factors towards government changing its plans.
First of all, no decision has been made. That's the first statement. Prime Minister spoke last week within the context of challenges that our court system faces in terms of an overwhelming number of persons who are within the system for offenses relating to possession of small amounts of marijuana, and the impact that has, and the resource demands that is placed on it, both within the court system and our prison system. And he stated this quite clearly, that it may be time to open the discussion and consultation.
Just to add to that, as I haven't been there, sorry, Minister. I'm not quite sure where the news about a change in government's position came from, because Prime Minister was speaking then last week primarily to the police force, and he was speaking to them about the priority areas that needed to be focused on, that they should spend time on those other areas instead of someone with a joint and stuff like that. But at no point did Prime Minister change his mind, and I think we have all heard him say that as long as this under his watch, we wouldn't see. That's not something he's going to focus on. So I think we need to be clear that this is what the context for the conversation was, and not what has been reported for some reason.
Has the new head for the Public Service Commission been named? We know that we have the lawyer, Mr. Sylvester, having indicated that he's no longer going to continue in that position. So have the new person been named?
I don't believe that the naming of the person has been made as yet.
And finally, from me,
Okay, I've just been informed. So there is an interim person, and that is Prescott Swan.
as it pertains to the suspension of court sittings, as we know, the whole issues with the line building, etc., courts have been suspended. Have there been any way in finding new allocations so that the court sittings can resume? What's the latest on that?
Yeah, this is a top priority. So alternative arrangements are being explored.
Okay, good morning. Jessie Leonce, MTV. You mentioned earlier the part of the transformation of TAMCC being fresh blood in the administration, and also if you looked at your statement on the Skills Development Institute of, the repairs, manufacturing of furniture for schools and so on. But last night there was a fire at TAMCC. However minor, it is the second such incident to have occurred. Can we get any acknowledgement from the government on perhaps the infrastructural integrity of TAMCC? Any acknowledgement on any officials, fire and otherwise, who may have spoken on the need for there to be rewiring, retouches being done to the infrastructural aspect of TAMCC?
The safety of our students, safety of staff at TAMCC is top priority. So an incident like this, investigations will be taking place, and any remedial action to ensure that the facilities are safe will be the top priority, both of the college, the management of the college, but the ministry also. So in terms of the infrastructure moving forward, there is work taking place through support from the Caribbean Development Bank. I believe we received financial support of something like $500,000 to do a technical assessment of the infrastructural requirements, not only of the existing campus, but all of the campus sites, with a plan for the redevelopment of all sites. So this is all part of that transformation process. It's recognized that the existing Tantine site has many challenges, both the quality of some of the buildings, but the space requirements. So this, again, is part of that transformation thrust, looking at what is required to transform TAMCC, as we continue to say, into the primary tertiary education facility within the region.
Since the Prime Minister stunned everybody with his marijuana comment last week, I would imagine there would have been some, dialogue on that in Cabinet yesterday. Anything you wish to disclose with regard to?
No, there was no dialogue.
Oh, really? Okay, understood. The 30th of June, UN World Parliamentarism Day. Any comments from you personally, as someone who is a parliamentarian here in Grenada, your experience so far, what it means to you to be of that estate?
Well, I think the opening of our new Parliament building last week, I think, is a very fitting symbol of our parliamentary system and this rich democracy that we all enjoy here in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And I think with that international recognition and the international representatives who were here last Thursday, and a number of regional heads who were here to celebrate with all Grenadians the opening of this world-class symbol of our democracy was very, very fitting, and it was an absolute honor and history-making to be part of that wonderful occasion.
And yourself, the experience as a parliamentarian?
It was humbling. To sit there in that magnificent chamber that was designed by a Carriacouan, Brian Bullin, to be built by our own Grenadian hands. It was a humbling experience and a very proud moment for me personally, and I think for all of the parliamentarians that were there and those who were able to partake in Thursday's activities, a very proud moment for all Grenadians.
Thank you.
Ask a follow-up question. As it pertains to TAMCC, with the appointment of this president and so on, which means definitely the budget will be increased, is there any plans at all to increase student fees, or is that going to remain the same?
Increase in student fees is not on the agenda. It's not a discussional point at this time. As part of the restructuring, there are a number of areas where we will see increased cost, where there has to be increased investment to get the transformational impact that we are seeking. But we're also identifying other areas where we can bring cost savings into the picture. So in terms of the overall restructuring process, we actually do not see costs going up by any significant measure. So there'll be some, and the focus is not on generating more revenues from students. It's about increasing the quality of education service that we are providing to our students.
And finally, the committee that is appointed to advise government, is that going to be a paid committee, or are they given free service?
This is for, what is this for?
For the machineries?
No, that's not paid. No, that's voluntary.
Okay.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you to everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good one.
It is said that education is the key to success. The Grenada Development Bank believes this to be the truth, hence the reason we have made it our prerogative to ensure that your key is in safe hands with us. Here is how you can unlock your success with an education loan from the GDB. We offer you 3 loan options. We've got our regular student loan, our work-study student loan, and our special student loan. Our regular student loan is for persons who wish to pursue full-time tertiary level education. If you are a permanent employee who wish to study while continuing your employment, then our work-study loan is for you. Our special student loan is in collaboration with the government of Grenada, geared towards vulnerable persons who would like to pursue higher level education. Remember, you must have proof of admission from a recognized institution here at home or abroad. All our loans are 100% financing with interest rates as low as 5%. Get your funding from GDB today for your tertiary level education, your technical training or vocational training, even professional development, with up to 12 years to repay. Your future success is today. Grab it now.
The most anticipated, talked about event of 2018. On the 8th day of the 8th month, 2018. Concept Events presents Pre-Day, Ladies First, The Black Edition 3.0. 8 international acts, 8 local superstars. Pre-Day. Grenada National Stadium, August 8, 2018. $50 advance tickets, $60 after. More at the door. VIP $450, catered by Sandals Grenada Resort and Spa. Reserve yours today. Tickets online at gotofet.com. Stay tuned for more. Pre-Day, Ladies First.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
Them all. I felt the whips and remember chains, but my sword has been forged by my father's flames. Fight your fears and heal your pain, and victory will be in your name.
I used to be weak,
not weak no more.
Yes, and a good morning to Grenada, Carriacou, Martinique. Once again, it is time for Hard Talk. We've just completed the post-cabinet press briefing. Yeah, nice.
I used to be frightened.
Of course, my name is Sheldon Scott, flying solo this morning. Devon will not be in with us today.
With the heart of a lion and a warrior soul.
You know, we're all conquerors, yeah?
So no weapon that form against us shall not prevail.
Saying a good morning to all of you listening via the various radio stations. 97.5 City Sound FM. 89.5 CRFM Community Radio on your frequency modulated, yeah. Simulated but never imitated.
No, I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them.
92.9 Sister Isle FM. Smooth sounds coming out of Carriacou.
I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan.
Yeah, the original West Indian station up there in Brooklyn. 94.9 FM. Yeah, repping the entire Caribbean. They play Haitian music, everything in it. Let's get everything from the Caribbean on 94.9. Also online on Hard Talk Grenada. That's on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. You can look for the Hard Talk Grenada page. You get us live on YouTube. Yeah, each and every day we're live on YouTube. And also the Hard Talk website, www.hardtalkgrenada.com. So just in case you're traveling, you're out of the country, you want to keep in touch with what's going on in Grenada, you've got that opportunity.
Let's conquer. No, I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them. Thank you, Father.
Indeed, another kind of overcast day on the Isle of Spice. At least it was when I was outside a while back. Then I heard some rain falling while I was inside. Everything seems to have subsided right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, he stopped.
Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart. Even some of my friends turn enemies, and they pray for right to feel. And remember, you give us your only.
Yeah, just like this song, you know. Yeah, that song is a real nice one, yeah?
So no weapon that form against us shall not.
Good morning to you, Miss Bernice. Hope you're having a fabulous day today.
That war they shall never win. Because I will conquer. Oh, I will conquer. Yes, I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer. Oh, I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them. Tell them no retreat, no surrender. I shall fight till the end of years.
Yeah, I know that sometimes some of our friends in the media, they get things wrong, eh?
Father, loose all shackles and chain. This morning, first thing as I wake up.
Because I know the statements that Prime Minister has made in relation to the issue of the legalization of cannabis and that sort of thing. Said not under his watch. But at the same token, I know that what he was basically speaking about last week, he was telling a lot of the police officers that the focus, instead of you focusing on the one guy with the spliff or that kind of thing and tap the court system, it might be more important to focus on the child molesters, the rapists, the bandits, the people who go in and steal people crops, those sort of things. You understand?
Yes, I will conquer.
Some people take it out of context and spin it into a big story.
Let's conquer.
So I said nothing about it because I understood where he was coming from. For instance, you don't see police officers going onto the different Rastafarian camps and that sort of thing. It's a thing that used to happen in the past. I don't see them doing that now.
Thank you.
You respect the religious compounds.
Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind mind, I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart.
But again, some people take it and start to spin it.
And you pray for right to feel, and remember you give us your only big.
Okay, the Ministry of Social Development is reminding persons, you just got today and tomorrow to collect those seed payments. Today and tomorrow to collect your seed payments. Ria, good morning to you, my dear. Hope you're having a wonderful morning this morning. Yeah? So persons who have to collect their seed payments, you have today and tomorrow. That's the last 2 days to collect it for this month. As of Thursday, the payments will be returned back into the treasury, and that's it. You won't be getting that. So you have to collect it either today or tomorrow. You've got to head out now, head to the different offices and so on, collect it. Wherever you know you usually collect it.
Father, loose all shackles and chain. This morning, first thing as I wake up, King David told some to.
Remember, persons not paid today or tomorrow, they lose, they forfeit that payment. Not 4 feet, not 6 feet, not 7 feet, right? Yeah, no, not 3 feet. You forfeit that payment, right? Nice, good, nice. Also, the Docks cricket competition. Yeah, there's gonna be a big clash, man. It's gonna be between St. George Northeast and St. George South. That's the new National Party Docks cricket competition. And that's going to be taking place this evening from 7 p.m. at the Bourgeois playing field. They're playing that game under the lights, man.
Rise up and conquer them.
Yeah, so for those of you looking for a little lime later, that's a nice little lime, and so they're gonna have a well-stocked bar and everything.
Remember, change what
so you can go on out and support.
By my fathers.
That's the Docks cricket competition.
Fears and heal your pain and victory will.
Yeah, so you have that clash between St. George Northeast and St. George South.
But I'm not weak no more.
It's going to be taking place 7 p.m. in Bourgeois under the lights.
The strength of my ancestors deep down in my...
St. George Northeast careful. South St. George went up there and, they kind of beat Dock cricket team, you understand? Prime Minister, we ain't taking that one so, eh? Yeah. Northwest, we ain't taking that one so.
The Father bless me with the heart of a lion and a warrior soul. So no weapon that form against I shall not.
Interesting, I was listening to the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress this morning. In fact, I've been listening to him. I realize he's been making the rounds. So I listened to him on a program on Sunday, on the NDC Heartbeat program on Sunday. And I listened to him for the entire interview. For some reason, GBN would not open the phone lines. Yeah, GBN. I wanted to ask the man a question and you all refused to answer the phone. The phone was ringing. You all refused to answer the phone this morning. All you're trying to protect. All you're acting like NDC Heartbeat day, when you do good, I'll say you do good. When you do bad, I'll say you do bad. My phone line's always open. I don't lock off my phone line. Yeah.
This morning, first thing as I wake up, King David told some to the brain. Don't let your courage go down.
A question to ask the guy, man. And I'll ask it here since I didn't get the opportunity to ask it there because all you wouldn't answer the phone. Yeah. And it's simply this. Now, I've heard the gentleman speaking about the NDC is open and they would work along with government and all of that. But that's just nonsense. And I'll say why. The new National Party, after winning the 2013 general election and the formation of the social partners, offered the National Democratic Congress, the political organization, the National Democratic Congress, wrote to them and invited them to become part of the social partners. In other words, they would be part of the same committee that's meeting now that involves the churches and the unions and the non-governmental organizations, and so meeting together with government, and who would have a first bite basically at whatever is going to be taking place in Grenada, what the government intends to do, or some of the policy that government intends to implement will first be bounced off of them. And sometimes they would say, yes, we agree with that, that's a good way to go, but we think that you also need to do A, B, and C together with what you're doing. Yeah, that's how the social partnership works. So it's not that government just decides we're going to make a decision, this is what we're going to do, and you go and do it. But you bounce those decisions that you would like to take off of the social partners. And sometimes, in fact, most times, the social partners would give an additional perspective. As government, you may be seeing things in one way, but a non-governmental organization that's working with a specific group or demographic of people would also have a different view of that same issue, and as such, they would be able to say, we think you all need to do this, or you all need to do that. Yeah? They would say that you all need to do different things. Right? So, in that context, the social partners is an important organization. The new National Party administration, the government of Grenada, wrote to the National Democratic Congress back in 2013, 2014, when they were forming the social partners, and offered them the opportunity to be part of it. The NDC did not acknowledge that they even got the letter. Again, this year, since March 13th, again, after winning all the seats, the new National Party has once again invited the National Democratic Congress, who tend to beat their chest and say they got 23,000 votes. They did get 23,000 votes, but represent the people. So outside of not sending, not wanting any of their people, the candidates that they put forward, not wanting any of them to sit in the parliament. So I don't know if they didn't want them to sit in the parliament, what they was sending them as candidates for. But anyhow, outside of that, these individuals have also not acknowledged the National Democratic Congress. After being written, they were offered in 2013, they turned it down. And right now, they haven't even acknowledged receipt of the letter. And that was sent since, I believe, late March, early April. That letter would have been sent to the NDC, once again giving them the opportunity to join the social partners. They haven't even acknowledged that they received a letter to write and say, we have gotten your letter and it's under consideration. Not even that they have done. So I wanted to ask Mr. General Secretary, what is the reason for that? How come they want to work with government? You're willing to work with government. Here it is, you have the social partners. The first thing that Prime Minister Mia Mottley did on coming into office is create a social partnership in the model of Grenada, in swearing in her cabinet. In her platform speech at the swearing-in ceremony, she referenced Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and the social partnership here in Grenada. Yeah? I've met parliamentarians from Europe, and I'm talking about even from some of the Slavic countries. And when you explain the social partnership to them, you could see the cogs in their minds turning, because they immediately understand this is something that could work for me. And they want to do that same thing in their countries in some form or format, because they understand the importance of something like the social partnership. So you're seeing so many other countries interested in forming their own social partnership and so on. You're offering the opportunity here in Grenada to a political organization that was unable to secure any seats in the general election. You're offering them the opportunity and saying, here, we're willing to work along with you if you come into the social partnership. So you can have a say on what takes place. Nobody have to tell you, you're in the social partnership and so on. And they just refuse to even acknowledge, not even the decency to say, well, we've gotten your letter dated such and such, and we are having it under consideration, or we politely decline to be part of the social partnership. Not even a letter to say that. And these are the same people that are coming to me now and telling me that they're willing to work along with the government. Nah, man, joke are you making with that one? Seriously, joke you're making with that one. Yeah, Renee, morning.
These walls are bound to crumble, and to the floor the spears will fall.
The phone number 440-7377.
Time to battle.
440-7377.
Felt the whip whips and remember chains when my sword has been forged by
That's the local number. And the overseas number, let me see here. I have to try and remember that one.
victory will be in your name.
347-329-3101. That's 347-329-3101. Good morning to you, Blossom, Terry, Kendon, Dexter, Betty, Miss Mac, Cynthia, Louisa. Good morning to each and every one of you, Miss Courtney, Caitlin, Kim, Aldit, Neil, Joseph, Hermione, Sherma, Kathy. All of you on the live this morning, a special good morning to you. Remember to like and share the live. Like and share the live. Yeah, just remember to do that. Kim, the reason I wanted to ask the question is because I'm aware that they have not responded, but I would like to know the reason that they have not responded. Yeah? That's the question I was asking. I'm very well aware that they have not responded. Unless they come and respond this morning. But I think they deserve to let the Grenadian people know why they have not responded to becoming members of the social committee. Social partnership.
This morning, first thing as I wake up, King David turns some to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people to go meet it up, pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it up. No weapon.
Good morning to you, James.
Shall not prevail. And no man that rise against us, that war they shall never win. Because I will conquer, no, I will conquer. Yes, I will conquer, conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, no, I will conquer. Rise up and conquer, conquer them. Thank you, Father. I want to say thank you, Lord.
Yes, and good morning to you, Blossom. Hope you're having a wonderful morning this morning.
Everything, Father.
Jai Angel, good morning.
Thank you.
Jack Glory, good morning.
Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind, I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken
Willing to work with government. Ah, yes, right.
enemies, and they pray for right to feel and remember.
Saying it is one thing. Actually doing it is a totally different something.
Send down your warriors with the hello. They carry down to the end of days.
You agree, the CCJ is good for Grenada, but you don't want to be part of the process. I mean, come on, man.
I can see
Or you're going to go against the entire thing just because of the process. But you know that the CCJ is something that's good for Grenada. But you're willing to work along with the government. You have an opportunity to be part of the social partners. You don't even respond to the request, but you're willing to work with government. They should have turned on the phone line, or they should have answered the phone. Yeah, they should have answered the phone.
Yes, I will conquer, conquer them. Come on, let's conquer.
Folks, also to let you know, the new National Party will be having their General Council this weekend. They will not be having a rally, and so afterwards, the General Council will be taking place in Hermitage.
To tell me that I cannot make. Who are you?
Yes, indeed. That'll be taking place in Hermitage this Sunday. Yeah, so those of you who are usually delegates and so, by this point in time, you more than likely should have been contacted by your individual constituency representatives and so. Yeah, so they should have contacted you already and organized your transport and all of that. Also, we'll be visiting the Tivoli RC Church on Sunday morning, yeah?
Fight your fears and heal your pain, and victory will be in your name.
So that'll be taking place on Sunday. And then you're heading over to the with the Hermitage. It's the Hermitage Government School, I believe it is, yeah.
I found the strength of my ancestors deep down in my African core.
Remember, it's a sort of internal session. Your General Council is where you discuss the position of the party at this point in time. You get reports on your various structures within the different areas, like for instance your village groups and so on. You get your reports from each of the constituencies, and all of that.
So no weapon that form against us.
So there'll be the internal session. So it's not an open something that everybody could come to. Yeah, nice. But at the end of the open session, there will be several speeches, and so several ministers will be delivering different reports on their specific areas. So my good friends in the media, yeah, don't send a notice to all you a little later today to let you all know what time.
Tell them no retreat, no surrender. I shall fight till the end of years. I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan carrier. Father loose all shackles and chain. This morning first thing as I wake up, King David told Sam to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people to go meet it up, pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it up. So no weapon that form against us shall not prevail. And no man that rise against us, that war they shall never win. Because I will conquer.
And we have a caller online. Good morning.
Hey, Sheldon, good morning. Michelle Man here.
Hey, sir.
The live break longer.
The live? No, the live is running. Probably.
Well, I was not getting it. I was in the bank. I getting some Wi-Fi and I was trying to put it on and I was not getting it. I don't know.
I have no idea, but the live is running because
maybe the problem is maybe my phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it out again.
I'm monitoring it on my end and it's smooth.
Okay.
In fact, it's better than it has been for a few days. Well,
okay,
no sticking at all. All right, my brother.
Okay, cool.
All right, everything cool on your end?
Yeah, man, everything good.
All right, my brother.
Good.
Blessings. All right. So, folks, remember St. George Northeast versus South St. George at the Bujeju playing field this evening from 7 p.m. It's the Docks cricket competition.
The devil try trick me, unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this time is coming. I can see the high tide raise. Without you there is no rudder. Could it be that we is my soul? No weapon that form against us shall not prevail. And no man that rise against us, that war they shall never win. Because I will conquer. No, I will conquer. Yes, I will conquer. Conquer them. Come on, let's conquer. No, I will conquer. Rise up and conquer. Conquer them.
You all will excuse me this morning because the computer is giving me some problems here. Trying my best.
Know that you're reaching the final. Do not get sweated at all. Rootsman sing the same kind of song again. You know that your music is special. Real uplifting, calypso spiritual. To free the people from their mental shame. Rise them up from out of the gutter. Rise.
Yes, saying good morning to you, Rootsman.
Rise them up. Please don't let them suffer.
A reigning Calypso champion.
Rise them up from humiliation.
Rise them up.
Hunger and frustration.
Rise them up.
Mr. Calypsonian.
Rise them up.
It's your obligation. You know the good seed you sow and fertile soil will be growing as green as grass. Cause every word that the prophet had prophesied, it shall surely come to pass. Cause if you walk up and sweat in my vineyard, by your sweat you shall eat your bread. And once you satisfy all the criteria, we gon' put a crown on your head. For the same song again, a spiritual song again, the same song again, a lyrical song again.
Okay, and to our good friend who is listening that I was having the problem here, you can go to www.hardtalkgrenada.com. If you go to that website, you'll also be able to see and hear what is taking place in studio this morning. Yeah, the days are counting down to Spice Mass. Well, we're already within the season. Steel Pan Calypso Mass and the wonderful sounds of Grenada.
Don't think you're better than no one. I'm giving you the same.
Yeah, if you haven't booked your flight yet, too bad. I ain't feel you're going to be able to find one now.
But don't ever try to be greedy.
If you haven't gotten your hotel and your vehicle rental yet, good luck in finding one of those.
Total destruction.
Some people have last minute cancellations. You may be lucky if you put your name on a waiting list.
University. She offers you a master's or a bachelor's and associate degree. Discover your talent, there must be some hidden ability. You see the preparation you make today will go a long, long way tomorrow. The little education you grab, I pray, will help to wipe away your sorrow. Cause when you're preparing for a rainy day, let the while the sun still shine. Because according to the work you must get your pay. You could never take what is mine. It's the same song again. Spiritual song again. The same song again.
Also, folks, on Carnival Saturday, the New National Party will be having their all-day fete. Yeah, you'll be able to get food and drinks for the entire day into the night time. That's coming up for Carnival Saturday. We'll have some artists passing through. Quite a few artists will be passing through. So those of you in Brooklyn and in the UK and in Canada and so on who are booked to come down for the Carnival, make sure you put that onto your schedule. Carnival Saturday, the NNP all-day fete at the Mount Telecon.
I realize I have no choice but to sing the same.
Looking for some good Grenadian cuisine.
I cannot come.
I never know, you might get to play a little dominoes or cards against the Prime Minister.
To see my people rise up from the drain.
Take on Honorable Anthony Boson in some drafts and things.
From pornography. From internet.
Knock some dominoes with the Honorable Gregory Bowens.
That's why I'm calling on all the world leaders, those in religious authority.
See if you're better at card games than the Honorable Nicholas Steele.
For the good of humanity. Cause if you cast your bread on the water, might return after many days. And if you want,
there'll be a wonderful activity at the Mount Telecon.
Just do what the Father say. But if you keep on the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's technically this. Here is within the constituency, town of St. George, or here is southeast, or here is northeast. This property. It's difficult, you know. I still can't remember exactly. We're northeast, yeah. All right, nice. This side. Yeah, because we kind of at the junction where we are. We're at the junction. We could see South St. George. We're seeing Southeast St. George is the other side of the road. Town is on that side of the road. And we're in Northeast. So in St. George Northeast, St. George Southeast is on that side of that road. St. George, town of St. George is on that side of that road. And if we go down the hill and you reach by Reno, you're into South St. George. Just down the road. And we could see down there from here. Yeah, there's a kind of central location. It's an it's an interesting one. It's definitely an interesting one, man. Yes, in the post-cabinet press briefing, you had the Honorable Simon Steele, the Minister of the Environment, giving a little report on the sargassum seaweed and one or two other things. Yeah, if you think Grenada has a serious problem with that, you should see what Barbados and some of those other countries, their beaches that the tourists have to visit, what people just have to cancel and go back.
Yeah. Instead of sleeping every night, she trembled.
And they have much more resources than Grenada.
She call her stepfather. You dare not say a word, you good for nothing, child. Was the exact words of that dirty-minded pedophile. But in society, he's been held in such a high esteem. Who would expect such incestuous behavior from him? You got to stop it. They got to cut it out. Oh my God. I wonder if you know what I'm talking about. I mean, protect the rights of the children and stop abusing.
Saying good morning to you, Mammy George, you and the entire home circle. Hope you're having a fabulous day today.
We cannot condone. No.
So good friends up there in Carriacou.
They got to cut it out. I mean, literally. You hear what I say? Cut it out.
Uncle Ba, good morning.
Immediately.
Auntie Sylvie, good morning. Caitlin and the rest of the crew up there in Mount Royal, good morning. Stanal, good morning. Bossy, good morning.
The children from pain. Rid our society of disgrace and shame. Make sure they never do it.
Hey, Maitland, good morning.
Expectant mother cry. She don't know where the milk or papa's coming from. You see the cost of living almost touching the sky. 5 months she's still thinking about abortion. Where the worthless father, well nobody know. He gone since the day the belly start to show. Now she's left without a choice to bear the cross alone. Still refuse to let her heart become as hard as stone. So surprisingly,
yes indeed,
into this world.
The Traffic Department, Western Division, hereby notifies the general public that in order to facilitate Fishermen's Birthday Celebrations 2018, the following temporary traffic diversion will be in effect as per dates and time. This Thursday, the 28th of June, between the hours of 5 p.m. and 1 a.m., so between 5 p.m. and 1 a.m., and Friday, the 29th of June, between the hours 10 p.m. and 1 a.m., into Saturday, the 30th of June. Vehicles traveling towards St. George direction will enter via the Hillsview Road and make a right turn onto Edward Street and on to Langton Road. Vehicles traveling in the direction of Sauters will make a right turn onto St. Peter's Street, followed by a left turn onto Hubble Bridge. The Royal Grenada Police Force apologizes for any inconvenience caused. So let me give you that again. Vehicles traveling towards St. George direction will enter via the Hillsview Road and make a right turn onto Edward Street and onto Langton Road. Vehicles traveling in the direction of Sauters will make a right turn onto St. Peter's Street, followed by a left turn onto the Hubble Bridge. All right, so that's the traffic notices from the Royal Grenada Police Force for the Fisherman's Birthday celebration. The Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force hereby notifies the general public that all major examinations, which were scheduled for Wednesday the 27th of June at the Grenada Trade Center Gazebo, St. George, have been postponed due to unforeseen circumstances. An alternative date will be announced. Yeah? So the Traffic Department regrets any inconvenience caused and thanks the general public for their understanding. So the exams, which were supposed to take place tomorrow at the Trade Center Gazebo, they have been postponed. All right, so we'll get to write those exams and them at another date. They will let you know when that date is. All right. Also, I've seen an article. Yeah, the World Bank. Minister Steele spoke about that one this morning as well. It's an article, actually, you could check the World Bank website. It's on the World Bank website. It says the World Bank's Board of Executive Directors approved a $30 million U.S. development policy credit to support Grenada in strengthening its climate and fiscal resilience and helping the country transition to a blue economy. Yeah, this is the first blue growth development policy credit that they have done. Nice. We have a caller online. Let's go to that. We'll come back to the article. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Can I speak with you out of the air, please?
No, you can't during the program, my dear. You'll have to call me after.
Okay.
No problem. Yeah. All right. Yeah, just a policy we've had in place. We don't take off-air calls during the program. Nice. So, a successful transition to a blue economy means that the people of Grenada would better manage and protect the health of their rich marine resources and ultimately achieve greater growth and prosperity from sound management of the ocean. The program, supported under this development policy credit from the World Bank's International Development Association, builds on the successes of the government's reform efforts and policy measures that strengthen fiscal discipline and help the small Caribbean island to build buffers to better cope with natural disasters or other economic shocks. It also supports key reforms, including a ban on single-use plastics, styrofoam containers, and utensils that are severely harmful for marine health, and the establishment of a marine protected area that places under protection 15% of its coastal and marine ecosystems. Before I go any further, I think it's important for me to reread that part for you. It says it also supports key reforms, including a ban on single-use plastics, styrofoam containers, and utensils that are severely harmful for marine health, and the establishment of a marine protected area that places under protection 15% of its coastal and marine resources. Right? So what is happening here is that one of the things that will be brought to Parliament very soon is a ban on single-use plastics. And when we say single-use plastics, you're referring to several things. For instance, you know, there's some of the plastic bags and so that you use and you just use them once and then you throw it away and it becomes landfill. Or it ends up in the ocean where turtles, and sometimes people find dead turtles around the place, and turtles actually see these plastic bags the same way they see jellyfish. And they would try to eat it, and it would tear up their digestive system and kill them. Or there's one video that has been circulating on Facebook for quite a while of a turtle that has a straw stuck in its nostrils. Yeah? Those sort of single-use plastics that you use once and you just toss away. Is a straw really always that necessary? I myself find most times I'm going places and I buy stuff and I take a straw, and then after a while you realize that you've drank what you're drinking and you haven't used the straw. Yeah, a straw is always that necessary. And then styrofoam. We've shown you all quite recently what behind the terminal looks like with some of the styrofoam containers and those kind of things. Yeah, and instead of the styrofoam, you can use the cardboard. Yeah, the cardboard containers and so. So there will be, it is coming, so look out for it, it's coming. Those styrofoam cups and those styrofoam containers will be a thing of the past on the island of Grenada soon enough. So part of the $30 million US is going to help Grenada to transition out of those things. From the single-use plastics and so, from those single-use plastics and the styrofoam containers and all of that, it's going to help us transition away from those things into the reusable. In some instances, that you would, instead of using those disposable, that you would use the reusable ones, or you can use those that can be, what do you call? You call it, what's the word I'm looking for, Nazim? That you could take something and you make it back again, recycled. Yeah, so like for the cardboard boxes or the paper boxes, and so they can be reused because you take them and then you send them to the factory and they recycle them and it's used again. It come back as a box, it come back as another something. The cups, you have the option to use the paper cups instead of the plastic cups, because we're seeing them all over the place. You're seeing them clogging up the drains and so, and then when 2 drops of rain fall in town, you realize town flood. Yeah? Luckily, I ain't hear Grenville flood for the year yet, but you know. Yeah, so it also, one of the other things that's on the cards for Grenada is placing under protection 15% of the coastal and marine ecosystems. Yeah? So having these areas that are protected. Hopefully boat ain't disappear like it disappeared a few years ago under one of them things. They find it quite up in St. Vincent. Anyway, there's another story. The press release continues though. Our small island has 70 times more space at sea than we do on land. Our marine and coastal resources have become the main engine of our economy, and we are at the frontier of adopting climate-smart development policies. This new financing will enable us to transition to a blue economy, and we are well on our way towards building a truly resilient and prosperous country. That was stated by Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. So with its rich and pristine coastline and colorful reefs, the Caribbean island has seen a rise in the total contribution of coastal tourism to GDP from 15% in 2005 to 25% of gross domestic product in 2015, generating more than 11,000 jobs over the same period. It stands out as one of the few CARICOM countries to have adopted fiscal rules to reduce public debt. Improving economic performance has been reflected in sustained growth of 5.5% on average since 2014 and a substantial 30% points of GDP reduction in public debt over the same period to 71% of GDP. Grenada has also embarked on public sector reforms to improve service delivery and efficiency of public spending to further reduce public debt. The Caribbean countries' move towards a blue economy holds a promise of sustainable growth and regional cooperation. Yeah? So we're receiving a lot of praise from the World Bank for many of the things that we have done. Yeah? Many of the things that we have done here in Grenada, we have been receiving a lot of praise from the World Bank in relation to that. Some of the measures that we have taken, yeah, we're receiving a lot of praise from the World Bank and a lot of the other financial organizations as well in relation to those.
We must be thankful. Thank God. Thank God. I left my little homeland and I went up to England in a quest to get new experience.
Again, the phone number 4407377 on what is a very quiet Tuesday morning.
But certain things I see wasn't making sense, because although England rich, the people recycling their stuff. But what we have in Grenada never seemed to be good enough. And although the place cold, they make full use of their facilities. But Grenadians condemn we own and big up other countries. We have one of the best universities right under our nose. But some Grenadians rather to study medicine in Barbados.
So James, you're asking about if you spend the full 6 months allowed in Grenada, how long can you return? Yeah, you could come back. I mean, if you, I don't think you'd have a problem in returning.
Put we country right up on top.
Sandra, she's saying good morning to Elaine Riche from Mount Royal in Carriacou.
Grenadians could never stop. Thank God, thank God, thank God. So when you wake in the morning, thank the Lord, thank God. And before you sleep in the evening, thank the Lord.
Also, folks, remember, if you know that you have to travel soon and your passport is expired, you have two options, right? The present fee for a passport, I believe, should be $125. And that's for the present passport that we have. As it looks right now, the way you know it, right. That's for that. So you've got up until next week, Friday. Yeah, you can pay at the present rate. You can still pay at the present rate of $125 up to next week, Friday. Not this Friday, next week, Friday. That's the 6th of July. You can continue paying up until then. And that's, of course, at the main office, the Eric Matthew Gary building in the Botanical Gardens, the sub-offices in Carriacou, Grove, Grenville, even the consulate out there in New York, right? So that's up until next week, Friday. After that date, your applications at the present rate will no longer be accepted, all right? But from the Monday the 9th to the Friday the 13th, the Passport and Immigration Department will not be accepting any applications for new passports. During that period of time, they will not be accepting new applications for new passports. If you've already had your application inside, they'll provide you with a passport, but of course that would be the old passport. By that time, they'll try to clear out all that they have inside there, so they'll give you the old passport, right? But as of the 16th of July, they will start the process with the new e-passport. Between the 9th and the 13th, they're going to use the time to put together the new system, the computers, the printers, the facial recognition software, all the things that they have to do. They're going to put that in place within that week, between the 9th, Monday the 9th to Friday the 13th of July. They're going to put those systems in place, and then you'll be able to get your new passports. As of Monday the 16th, you would have to pay the increased fee, which is $175 for the new e-passport. So if you know you've got to travel sometime between the 9th or the 13th or the following week, especially the following week, because that means you would have been intending to make your application somewhere between the 9th and the 13th, you need to go and organize your business now. Yeah, organize your business now. If you want to wait for the new passport, then that's going to take a little while. It's going to be the 16th of July they start rolling out the new passports. All right? Nice. And it's $175 not because government need additional money. It's $175 because it's a new type of passport. It contains, in fact, you cannot, this new passport, you can't leave it in a place that's too hot. You could damage the chip in it. Yeah, you can't bend it and twist it up and all sort of thing because you could damage the chip in it. You have to be a little careful with this new passport that you're going to be getting. It's going to have a different look to it. You have the option when you're applying for it that you can, as we normally do, we go by Modern Photo Studio, Peter's Photo Studio, so, and we take a little picture by Quash or whoever, and we take a little picture, and then we go and we bring it, your passport picture, and you bring it. You have the option of continuing to do that, or you have the option of, like we do with our driver's license, now you go and you sit down, and they snap your picture there, and they put it in one time into the system. All right? So instead of having to go and print the pictures, they have the system starting from the 16th of July, where when you're going there, they could snap the picture and they could do all your do and thing for you. Nice, and nice you up nicely. So remember, up to next week, Friday, you can pay the $125 and get the old type of passport. No applications will be taken in, whether it's in New York, whether it's in the UK or wherever, or Canada, or whether it's here in Grenada at the Botanical Gardens or in Carriacou or in Grove or in Grenville. No new applications will be taken between the 9th of July and the 13th of July. No new applications, right? And then they will resume taking applications for new passports, but at the new fee for the new type of passport from the 16th of July. All right? Just thought I should let you all know that one. Again, some of you may have missed it yesterday, so we're making sure that you all know what is taking place. All right? Nice. Beautiful. Nice.
It's the national dish. We ain't teaching the children how to make a good old dung no more. So little by little we kicking, we culture out the door. If when month end come, you don't have money to pay now, sir. You could still go in hope and wash all your clothes in the river. And if you can't go buy M&M to buy a nice toilet bowl, this is Grenada, you could still go and dig a latrine hole. Tell me, in which other country could you ever survive without money? Thank God, thank God, thank God. For the cocoa and nutmeg, thank God, thank God, thank God. Grenadians don't have to beg, thank God, thank God, thank God. We have the best oil.
Yeah, so Grenada able to access a 30 million US from the World Bank.
Thank the Lord.
And the World Bank is stating here, contrary to what some people on this island who seem to not want anything good to happen for Grenada are saying, they're saying this is as a reward for the good fiscal management of the government of Grenada. Yeah. That Grenada has adopted rules, placed legislation, placed it in law to manage the size, reduce and then manage the size of your public debt, to improve your economic performances. And we've seen the improvement in economic performance. Yeah, we've seen it. That you have seen sustained growth between 2014 and now. We have seen growth every year. So you're seeing improvements. So now that 30 million will help a lot of different areas, and so that you have to use a lot of that in different areas. That's going to be a good one. Yeah, nice.
We need to cooperate and always put our country first. Yes, we have to demonstrate that Grenada is for all of us. As a two-party state, we must be ever conscious that we do not
Heinlein, Mr. New Commissioner, you had them fellas busy in that department, boy. Public relations section, busy in the police department. Every time I turn is another release. The Royal Grenada Police Force, in its mandate to preserve the safety and stability of the Tri-Island state, has established a task force to respond strategically to reports of serious crimes and thereby eliminating the fear of crime. To date, the task force has retrieved 1 firearm, a quantity of illegal drugs, and deported a number of illegal immigrants. The RGPF is therefore appealing to members of the public to report any suspicious or illegal activities, including information on illegal firearms, by calling police headquarters at 440-3999, the Criminal Investigations Department at 440-3921, 440-2266, Police Emergency at 911, Police Hotline at 444-1958, or the nearest police station. So the Royal Grenada Police Force, yeah, because I realize 1 or 2 fellas tried to spoil we name over the last couple weeks and months and so. Right. So the Royal Grenada Police Force, they have a special task force in place. So if you see someone with a firearm that you find that person look like they're supposed to have a firearm, that kind of thing, right? Nice. Because even if you're a licensed firearm holder, you're not supposed to have your firearm all over the place, exposing it and that kind of thing. So you can contact the police and let them know so that they can immediately send that task force. They have the task force in place. And you know the carnival season is upon us, and therefore the police will soon be announcing their strategies and so for the carnival season. You'll be hearing from them in relation to that. Yes, we have now Acting Commissioner Edwin Martin as of, I believe it would be from next week, Monday, I think, yeah? Next week, Monday, I think he's actually taking up office as Acting Commissioner of Police. And congratulations to you, sir, from the Hard Talk family. So the police so far, they've been able to retrieve 1 firearm, a quantity of illegal drugs, and deported a number of illegal immigrants. Yeah, it has some people coming from some country trying to do some kind of thing in we place. And we ain't taking that. Yeah. No connection to Grenada, you know. But they coming and trying to do some kind of illegal thing in we place. Yeah. Report them. Nice. I know my good friends down there, Isa and them ain't go bat the eye twice to come and collect them. You understand? Nice. Yeah. Making them move 1 time. No sticking. Alright? No sticking at all. Nice. Beautiful.
Hear me now. Crazy people. Ha. March out. Let's go. Real job. Tell them. Walk out. Up. 2, 3, 4. So when I dead, put jab on me tombstone. Man, when I dead, put jab on me tombstone. What, man? I'm telling you, black blood in me vein. Black blood in me vein. Black blood in me vein. Mass, we going insane. Black blood in me vein. Black blood in me vein. Black blood in me vein. Job, we going insane. Cause me mother was a chap woman, and she pick up a chap man. He give her some chap sex. 9 months later, well, I was born. Right in a job hospital. I was Christmas chap priest. I went to a chap college. That's why I did like this. So when I dead, put jab on me tombstone. Man, when I dead.
That one coming down from Mandela Links 2018.
I'm telling you, black blood in me vein. Black blood in me vein. Black blood in me vein. Mass, we going insane.
Again, 4407377.
Black blood in me vein.
347-329-3101 for those of you outside of Grenada.
The chain make the jab blood. The kind of fast make the jab mad. So do run. When jab touch a road.
I have made contact with the Honorable Minister of Culture.
Take that lad. So
we will be having him in studio within the next 2 weeks. So sometime next week, we would be having him in studio with us.
When the jab touch.
Be making his maiden appearance on Hard Talk.
Jab don't beg no friend. Jab never pretend. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So when I dead,
jab jab on me tombstone. Man, when I there.
We've got a call online. Good morning.
Yeah, what's up, brother, man? What's up? What's really going on?
I'm just good, man.
I'm glad to hear that, man.
Yeah,
you know, why don't I hear a mad man this morning, you know. I had to laugh because I say, well, how come when you assume an office, right? Sheldon right now, Sheldon become prime minister of this country. Sheldon have to give up certain things that, you know, he used to do. Because he's busy now. He got a job to be done. He had to take care of people's needs. He had to go out there and look for this and look for that and get things done. He's busy. Because Sheldon is the prime minister of this country. Sheldon have to get things done. I hear a brother making an argument this morning that when the prime minister go and change his coat, people getting harassed. He don't want security. People getting harassed. I mean, it's nice for somebody to say, all right, I have a goat, let me go and change it. If you have spare time, if you have enough time to go around and change the goat. But when you become the prime minister of a country, you think you will have time to go and change a goat? You think you have time to really do that on him?
My brother, you could look at this different ways. One, if you're being successful in being prime minister, if you've been successful, in other words, that you have been able to turn around the economy, you have a strong team around you and things are going good, in that context, if you want to go and change your goat in the morning before you go to work, no problem. Before you go to take your office, your seat in the ministerial complex, you want to go and change your goat, no problem. But you cannot have been the prime minister where your cabinet falling apart, the economy destroying under you, all kind of weird thing, unemployment high, businesses closing down, and you're going and change your goat. You have to be focused on the job at hand. And I think that's where the entire discussion in relation to that would come from. You understand? Well, you can't be a failure and you're still trying to do things the same way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I remember having that conversation with the individual because prior to that we was really close, yeah. And I don't have my animals and stuff because I'm a man that normally on my in my zone. And he talked to me about how much goat I have and how much sheep I have and he when he was a boy he used to change the animals and them, so he looking to get one. And to me, I remember having a conversation with him, but that when he wasn't prime minister. But I assume as he became prime minister, you get so busy trying to make sure, as I say, helping out people and getting things done. To mind a goat still, I mean, it might be kind of difficult. You might be traveling up and down, you might be in and out. You just a bit too busy to mind a goat.
Well, as I said, in my view, if you want to do that, that might be your kind of relaxation.
Sheldon,
sometimes that could be relaxation.
Sheldon, in your capacity right now, could you take care of a goat properly right now?
I wouldn't have the time.
Good. Yeah.
So I wouldn't try to do it because I know I don't have the time.
All right, good.
All right, my brother.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So we could look at it like maybe the animal might have been really, I don't know if it's the word, but I'm just saying that if you don't have the time to take care of an animal, you don't want to buy an animal and take care of an animal. And when you're prime minister of a country, you don't look to go and take care of an animal because this time on them they should be, spent. You have meetings, you have this. Taking care of an animal deserves time.
No, but what I'm saying here though is that as an individual, you still have to have your personal time. Whether it's that you use that time to do some farming. In fact, only yesterday, I saw some pictures of the Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, planting little sorrel and peas and those kind of things.
Well, planting something is much easier because you can plant something now. And then you go back about 2 weeks after and see if it's this and
I don't think we should condemn someone.
No, I'm not condemning. I'm just saying I'm not condemning. The point I'm trying to make is that when you assume certain offices, I mean taking care of an animal is like taking care of a child. And to me and so let me deserve even more time because animal need feeding, you need to take care of giving water and just constant. You don't have the time for that when you become a prime minister. Unless you hire somebody to do it for you. And to go as far as say that he don't want no security to really go with him in the bush. I mean, what kind of thing is that? I mean, the individual sent him more like giving him a props. But when you become prime minister of a country, the country provide you with security. Then that means that if anything wrong with you, the security have to make sure that everything that they protect you. So when you say they want no security, you live in exposed. So when something were to happen to you now,
my brother,
what excuse you would have?
My brother, at this stage though, I don't even think that is too much of an issue anymore.
No, not an issue. I'm
the
just
only
saying
way, no, hold on. The only way I would think that's an issue is if what you're trying to tell us is that Uncle Tilly trying to come back and take over the NDC.
Well,
that way you're trying to tell us.
Well, the way the chap was talking about him this morning, you might believe that. You know,
I realized that I was listening to the General Secretary of the NDC this morning on the To The Point program. I know usually you just call. You tried to call today?
Yeah, I tried, but this guy don't call at all, man. He just, to me, when he goes that program.
Yeah, he just refused to take any calls. It's like you're trying to protect the NDC.
Yeah, always that kind of stuff, yeah.
Trying to protect the person that there. But anyhow, that's their problem. But the thing is this, you realize that the General Secretary made a specific statement where he said that the NDC has to be looking at issues such as new leadership and new blood. He made that statement this morning.
I heard him, yeah.
And you realize that all of them are doing programs and like they afraid the name Nazimburg.
Well, even the people talking about the new parliament bill and talking about give the former prime minister the credit. So it's like they're pushing this agenda. You can see they're pushing a certain agenda to bring back the former leader, basically. That's what he's going right now.
But that is why I'm asking, because why all of a sudden the discussion? I mean, Uncle Tilly was our prime minister.
Well, I'm telling you that he keep running that song right through.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the individual personally, right? And I know he's a cool brother, because I deal with him, I tell you, for a long time now. I know the brother is a cool brother, So to me, I mean, we have many brothers have lengthy conversation already on a personal level. Somebody brother on a personal level also too.
Oh, boy.
So I'm not condemning that action. I'm just saying that when you assume certain position, yes, you might have time to go a little backyard farm and be in your house. But I know animals. I have cows, I have sheep, I have goat, I have, just name it, I have it.
They're leaving your cow alone these days, though. They ain't trying to.
No. I take it out this morning already, man. Right. I'm telling you, you take up a lot of time in yours.
Okay.
So I don't think somebody assuming the office should be involved in that at all.
No problem.
Unless you hire somebody, yeah.
All right.
Have a nice day.
No problems. I differ on that. I think it's based on several things. That might be a way to relax. As a person who has held office before, different people have different ways they relax. So some people might be to go in the garden, some people might be to have an animal and look after that animal, and so that's their way of relaxing and that sort of thing. But what I'm more interested in is why all of a sudden the discussion around Uncle Tilly. I realize Senator Redhead made reference to him as the boss. You understand? Yeah, Uncle Tilly is the boss, he's the man thing. Yeah. And at the same token, they're just not even making statements in relation to their present political leaders. Like they afraid him. Or they're afraid to say anything about him. Whether positive or negative, like they're afraid to say anything about him. And the closest I've heard in relation to the issue of change of leadership within that organization would have been that statement by Glenn Noel this morning, where he did say that they have to look at new leadership and new blood. Yeah, he said it. New leadership and new blood within the NDC. So it is, we'll dissect that a little more and let you hear some more of what was said in that. Yeah, we're going to let you hear some of what was said. I ain't had time to cut it up yet. I'll have to hold on for that one. So we're going to get some more information in relation to that one. But meanwhile, yeah, we have a few minutes remaining and we know Carnival is coming up. I want to let's touch one of the most popular tunes for the Carnival for you.
The butterfly. Yeah, butterfly, we dance. Yeah. What she do? She showed the job the butterfly, the butterfly. She showed the job the butterfly, I get so high. She showed the job the butterfly, I don't know why. She showed the job the butterfly, the butterfly. Satin very child, you need a rhythm, then child, you need a satin very child, you need a
some of the elder folks gotta tell me how to thread the needle. I think they are the ones that know about that Tanty Mary thread the needle kind of thing. They gotta tell me. Let me say a special good morning, especially to the female artists out there. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough, yeah? There's some excellent female artists out there. But they have it real rough, man. So whether it's Valine, Coco, Laura, Lisa, Nikoya, and Bain. When is Jab Jab Monarch, my brother? Chubby, message me now, man. Tell me when is yeah, you have my number. Yeah, so message me. I ain't find I see nothing come from you for a little while, Chubby. Chubster, yeah, we don't operate like that, man. Come. Let me know when it's Jab Jab Monarch. Nice, good. Oh, yeah, sorry, Chubby, he did send it to me. It's gonna be on the 3rd of August, Friday the 3rd of August. $25 at the door, but the venue has not been announced. Yeah, so Jab Fest. That's going to be Friday the 3rd. Yeah, Friday the 3rd of August. I haven't seen a location for the activity yet. All right. So, Chubby, yeah, message me. Let me know where you're having that, man. What happened? You afraid to tell me thing, man? Tell me, man. Send it, come. Yeah, this one by the reigning Road March Kings. Look out for this tune in the groovy too, you know. Don't that groovy competition just Shondell. You see Shondell outside, man? Shondell, you want that tune that you dropped Friday. So Little Natty and Thunder, they ain't only going after Road March, they're going after Groovy and Soca Monarch. Let's not go back and sing Calypso too. Gentle Ben, I know you must have some video footage of Little Natty singing Calypso as a Junior Monarch and that kind of thing. It's one person I know would have that in his archives, a Gentle Ben. Yes, folks, we're into the few final minutes of today's program. Over the next few weeks, you'd realize that the program has taken a slightly different turn for the carnival season as we're going into Spice Mass. We always play mainly local music anyway. No complaining. Man, a champion on the road and I'm feeling fine. But you'll be hearing a lot of the music that's coming out for this year. You'll be hearing a lot of that music. And we'll also be doing some interviews with some people related to culture. So some of the Calypsonians and Soca artists and so on. As I've mentioned, the Honorable Minister has consented. He will be in studio with us sometime, I believe, next week. We'll settle on the day and let you know. So we'll be getting some interviews. That doesn't mean we wouldn't be talking about other issues as well, politics and so on. Yeah, go talk about it, believe me. Yeah. And also social issues. folks, remember the rains have started, so it's extra important to keep your surroundings clean. Make sure that you clean your surroundings. Yeah, get rid, and when I say get rid of the garbage, don't take the garbage by you and put it by the neighbor. That is not getting rid of it. That is merely moving the problem from location A to location B, but it's still your problem. Eh? The vermin are going to find themselves over by you. The mosquitoes, the cockroaches, the rats, they're going to find themselves over by you anyway. Get in contact with the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority and transport your stuff properly, or in some instances you may have to organize your transportation and get it to the landfill. Things like the tires, bamboo, all these sort of things that retain water. There's a lot of rain has been falling over the past couple of days. Those things in a couple of days from now will be hatching mosquitoes. You've got to get rid of those stuff from around your place. The containers below the plants that store the water and so on. The bottles and the cups and the plastic thing, even the aluminum foil, whatever it is around your home that's going to store water, you need to get rid of those stuff, yeah? We don't want as bad an outbreak as dengue as we've been having with things like chickpea and all these kind of things. We don't want that. No. All right, folks, that's all the time I've got for today. My name is Sheldon Scott, and I am out of here. In whatever you say, whatever you do, do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you.
The most anticipated, talked about event of 2018. On the 8th day of the 8th month, 2018. Concept Events presents Pre-Day. Ladies First. The Black Edition 3.0. 8 international acts. 8 local superstars. Pre-Day. Grenada National Stadium. August 8th, 2018. $15 advance tickets. $60 after. More at the door. VIP $450. Catered by Sandals Grenada Resort and Spa. Reserve yours today. Tickets online at gotofet.com. Stay tuned for more. Pre-Day. Ladies First.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
Watch them, make me jump and sing. Cast up on body balancing. Whining in and out of time with them spread out and go like cake when I sing. When the bubble and start back it up. Make the thing explode, give it up. Oh Lord, I am tempted to touch when them legs apart and them open it up and say, whoa, this party I have plenty thing. Oh Lord, I say, watch thing. Hey, whoa, this party I have plenty thing. It's plenty thing.
Grenada receives support from World Bank for transition to resilient and blue economy. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the National Report, I'm Rakisha St. Louis. The World Bank's Board of Executive Directors has approved a US $30 million development policy credit. This credit will support Grenada in strengthening its climate and fiscal resilience in making the transition to a blue economy. The first in a series of 2 is being complemented by technical and capacity support. A statement from the World Bank says the successful transition to a blue economy means that the people of Grenada would better manage and protect the health of the rich marine resources and ultimately achieve greater growth and prosperity from sound management of the ocean.
The program supported under this development policy credit from the World Bank's International Development Association builds on the successes of the government's reform efforts and policy measures that strengthen fiscal discipline and help the small Caribbean island build buffers to better cope with natural disasters or economic shocks. In response, Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell said, and I quote, "Our small island has 70 times more space at sea than we do on land. Our marine and coastal resources have become the main engine of our economy, and we are at the frontier of developing climate-smart development policies. This new financing will enable us to transition to a blue economy, and we are well on our way towards building a truly resilient and prosperous country." Unquote. Under the current system of application, passports are processed in 3 days. But when the new system rolls around on July 16th, the wait will be a bit longer, but just for a brief period. That's according to Inspector Leroy Joseph of the Immigration Department.
In the beginning, there will be probably 7 days time to get your passport because remember, it's a new regime we are going into, and the officers will have to get accustomed with the use of the system. But thereafter, we're hoping that we go back to our 3 days sooner than later.
The old passport regime ends on Friday, July 6th at the main office and sub-offices. Inspector Joseph says the department will go through a transition period from Monday, July 9th to Friday 13th. And during that time, no application will be accepted or processed. New applications will be accepted from Monday, July 16th at the new fee of $175.
E-passport or biometric passport is an actual passport like the one you're using presently. The only difference is that there will be a chip in that passport at the cover page. There will be a chip, an electronic chip, which can read your data. And that's what makes the difference. But you will have in your possession a passport you are using presently. The only difference is that of electronic chip embedded in the back page of the passport.
Pictures can be taken at the office, and applicants also have the option to walk in or mail in the application. Inspector Joseph says if an applicant chooses to have his picture taken at the passport office, he must present supporting documents to indicate his true image. This can either be the old passport or driver's license. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Look up now! Watch up now! My name is Jalen Olive, better known as Boise, better known as the Madras, your cultural ambassador, 4-time Soca Monarch of Grenada, 2 times OECS Monarch and 2 times Road Match, inviting you to Spice Mass 2018. This will be the one to experience. Well, Carnival Friday night is the biggest night because guess what? 1 stage, 1 night, 2 competitions, groovy and power. And guess what? Your artist may be the one. You never know. Come out and see who take the title. Foreigners come down to see it. Enough vibes, enough energy. Rag, flag, bandanas. It's pandemonium on that night, so you don't know. I mean, I will be defending on that night, so make sure and be there. Carnival Friday night, so come on. Number 5. Johnny! Put your hand up in the air. Rag up in the air. Put your flag up in the air. Put your hand up in the air. Put the gun. 1, 2, put the gun. So come on.
Welcome back. Heads of government of the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, who recently met in St. Lucia for their 65th Authority meeting, have discussed the benefits of Caribbean Climate Smart Accelerator. This is a coalition of governments and major private sector actors that seeks to address and fast-track mechanisms to build and strengthen the resilience of small island states in the Caribbean, and especially the OECS. The Caribbean Climate Smart Accelerator has the support of 12 Caribbean government leaders and more than 35 other partners. St. Lucia's Prime Minister, Honorable Alan Chastanet, says in the face of climate change, the OECS must remain resilient.
The Caribbean Climate Smart Coalition is an initiative spearheaded by the Caribbean government leaders and supported by the private and public sector partners and multinational institutions. The accelerator brings together an unprecedented group of leaders to set out and implement a shared vision for transformative climate action in the Caribbean.
Prime Minister Shasne told the meeting that not only is climate change a major threat for us, but so too is the denial of ready access to official development assistance resulting from graduation of member states to middle-income status. He added that the arbitrary blacklisting of our countries as non-cooperative tax jurisdictions and the removal of corresponding banking arrangements remain major threats, and the OECS must remain affirmative in its efforts to deal with these challenges.
All too often, we as small states are invited to meetings in which we're literally given 3 minutes to make a presentation, as if that is to satisfy us. And then we are further insulted because they don't even listen to what you say. They believe that the fact that they've just given you the opportunity to note down your interest, but nobody's really taking you on. This is only going to change through a collaborative effort. This situation is exasperated by the evident absence of the inclination to or opportunity for dialogue or the representation of our interest at the tables that truly matter. And I repeat that. In these circumstances, I urge that we revisit the relationships with our current partners and agree on the means by which they may be enhanced to our mutual benefit.
Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell attended the meeting, which also witnessed the signing of the terms of reference governing the establishment of an OECS audit committee. And finally, a promise to young people by the country's Prime Minister that they will see the materialization of promises made to them on the campaign trail. It comes from Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, who recently addressed young people during one of the government's Let's Vibes sessions, which was held in the Tongue of St. George.
The young people, you, are primarily responsible for the massive victory of the NNP. But you had some messages in the last election for us too. In other words, while you voted, you also expressed concern about certain things, right? And you wanted to see certain changes. Well, the changes are being made. And we're getting ready to move aggressively to meet your aims and aspirations as people, as young people in our country. I'm sure you would have learned about many programs that we are going to be having. A lot of investment.
Minister with responsibility for youth development, Honorable Kate Lewis, says government plans to strengthen the Imani program, but she used the opportunity to encourage young people to explore opportunities in small business development.
We are looking to create small business support centers for persons who are interested in setting up their own small businesses. Sometimes you only have the idea. You don't have anything else. But we are looking to create a small business support center so you can go there, so you can take your business idea forward, so later on in life you will be able to have a successful business.
Parliamentary representative for the Tongue of St. George, Honorable Peter David, who also addressed the crowd, spoke to the importance of forward planning and reviewing the goals set to determine progress made.
Seize the opportunities that appear before you. There are scholarships, there are training programs, there are things that appear before you that you have to grasp.
That story just brought the curtains down on the national report for today. Let's recap the top story. Grenada receives support from the World Bank for transition to resilient and blue economy. On behalf of the entire news team, technical operator Gary Stephen, I'm Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Look up now! Watch up now! My name is Sheldon Olive, better known as Boise, better known as the Madras, your cultural ambassador, 4-time Soca Monarch of Grenada, 2 times OECS Monarch and 2 times Road Match, inviting you to Spice Mass 2018. This will be the one to experience. Well, Carnival Friday night is the biggest night because guess what? 1 stage, 1 night, 2 competitions, groovy and power. And guess what? Your artist may be the one. You never know. Come out and see who take the title. Foreigners come down to see it. Enough vibes, enough energy. Rag, flag, bandanas. It's pandemonium on that night, so you don't know. I mean, I will be defending on that night, so make sure and read it. Can have a Friday night, Soca Monarch, number 5. John! They put your hand up in the air, rang up in the air, put your flag up in the air, put your hand up in the air, put it up, 1, 2, put it up. Soca Monarch.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.